Hi, everybody. How are you today? This is Libby from MFT, and I am here for our daily live stream while we're doing our countdown to Christmas. So thank you for being here, whether live or on replay. I'm so glad to have you joining me today. So I wanted to quickly just talk about what today's deal of the day is, and it is, let me put it up here on the screen, stacks and shapes. So this is a great one. This is a great time to get some of the stacking dies that you've been wanting to get, and you get a free 6x8 stamp set as part of the deal when you buy $50 worth of the stacks and shapes category. So that's today only, and there's so many great 6x8 sets as well that I'm sure there's tons of things that you would find that you would want to have as part of that deal. So hello, Kelly, nice to see you. So, what I thought I'd play with today, I haven't tried it yet, so I'm experimenting with you guys today. So it may be a success or it may be a fail. We'll have to see. But I'm going to play with a 6x8 stamp set, and then I grabbed one of the shapes that I was thinking could be cute with it when I'm done. So without further ado, I'm going to go to my desktop today. There we go. So this is the 6x8 stamp set I want to work with. This is the pressed poinsettias, and I think it's so beautiful. It's a layering set, so you can layer together the flower and the detail of the flower, same with the leaves and the little berry sprigs, or you could just use them by themselves. And so today I wanted to try using the solid stamps and doing some watercolor looks with them. So like I said, I didn't try it beforehand. So we are trying it on the live to see if it'll work. I'm going to try a technique that I saw my friend, my trade show BFF, Jen Shirkus, do just the other day with distress watercolor crayons, pencils, I mean. So I have all 3 sets of the distress watercolor crayons here that I'm going to give a try. And then I also have out my Korean markers, which these are watercolor markers, and these are made by the same company that makes the Olo markers. Just another product, a different kind of product, not an alcohol marker, but a watercolor marker. And so I thought I would try those 2 different things on my stamps to see if I could get a fun impression with it and a nice watercolory look to use on my card. And then one thing I thought I might do with it once I have them and trim them out is put them on some of these postage stamps, because I love this postage stamp die. I think that's super cute, and I think that would be fun to make some poinsettia postage. So that is my master plan. I also do have, I love this as well. This kind of goes with it, sort of. This is the Winter Poinsettias Dynamics. And so they would work well together. These aren't frames to cut out these pieces, but I think I could also do some die cutting of these and do some watercoloring right on the die cut pieces as well. So a couple of ideas there for that. So I already took out the big solid poinsettias and put them here in my MISTI. Now, of course, let me open this thing. It keeps sticking shut. I'm trying this. You can't really see, but I think it's called a grip mat. I'm trying that in my MISTI, and it really grips. I accidentally closed the stamps onto the grip mat. Don't do that because it's really hard to open your MISTI back up, I learned. So of course you can just stamp these with your ink pads like you normally would do your stamping. I did do it on pink beforehand just to see how I like them on pink. And I could go in with that detail stamp that I mentioned, which is right here for the 2 flowers. And I could add those details. I could also go in with the little dots and add like yellow in the center or something. So those are all the options with these beautiful poinsettia stamps. So that's what it looks like in pink, just 1 layer of ink. But I want to try to do some watercolor effects with it. So I'm going to take some watercolor paper. I have a little stack of it here. I might have to go cut some more, but this is what I think this is the Ranger Distress watercolor paper. So I'm starting with that. I'm just putting it down here in my MISTI. And I am going to do multiple stamping with it. So, I think my internet just froze up a little. Goodness. Hopefully it's not going to do that on me today. Anyway, I am going to stamp over. So it is kind of a good thing to have a stamp positioner for what I'm going to try to do today. So let's see here. I'm going to try the Korean markers first, I think. And I'm just going to take a red. Here's a red. And I'll start with one of them. And I'm just going to brush it right onto my stamps. And again, I don't know how well this will work, if it will pull up too much. I don't know. We're just trying it. We're just giving it a go and see what happens. And then I'm going to give it a quick little spritz. I do have a spray bottle of water here. Ooh, that was a big spritz. That might have been too much. But let's see. I do want a watercolory look, so maybe that will give me what I'm after. That is awfully pretty. We missed some of the edges, so I use this red. Let me keep track of what I'm using here. I'm going to grab maybe a deeper red. This is fire red. Let's try this on the edges. And have you all done this before where you just kind of color on directly on your stamps? I've done it with like Tombow markers before. This is just a watercolor marker. Just trying to see what kind of look I'll get with it. Go from higher above. I might need to get out my distress spritzer. I think I can get a nicer little spritz with the distress one, but I can kind of see the variation. I'm somehow missing my side right on that side. So let me see if I can get that. It's this one. See if that will work. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I could try going in with maybe a bright pink in the center. What would that look like? My paper is already kind of wet from the previous layers, so I'm not going to add more right now. You see what we're getting there? It is kind of a fun watercolored look. It's maybe a little more solid than I was hoping for. Let me try it again on this bottom one. And on this one, I think I'll start with the pink. And you guys, I'm just playing. I hadn't tested this out beforehand. I just wanted to see how it works. And I think that's part of the fun when you're creating, is just to play and see what you get, right? And I've watercolored with these Korean markers before, but I've never tried this kind of direct stamping with them before. All right, that's a really soft pink in the center there. I'm going to go in with a little bit deeper pink. Sorry if that squeaky noise is bad for you. Ooh, that's kind of neon almost. Ooh, but it's pretty. Pretty. All right, let me do another. I don't know why I felt like being pink on this one, but I'm just scribbling some on. All right. That was a lot of water, so we'll see what happens with that. Ooh, I love that. And I think when it dries, it's going to be even prettier. Now, I did get a little bit of a splash there with all the water I had on there, but I don't mind that. But I'm probably going to trim these out. So, you know, that's not even going to necessarily show once I trim them. I think what I'm going to do is kind of flip this around. And let's try going in with the yellow and see what happens if I do that right away. I don't know if I should wait until it dries a little or not, but we're playing and finding out. So I want this one here. And I could do it separately and cut them out, but I think I'm going to try it directly on there and just see if I get anything. Although I don't. Okay, I thought I could try to do it without taking these off, but I'll just take them off because I don't need to stamp in that place again. I don't want to have, I don't want to mess up what I've already done. Okay, I'm going to take kind of a, let's see, this kind of yellow. You can't even see my markers. I just realized they're right here next to me. I have just this whole bin that I'm kind of just pulling from. Put some purple poinsettias would be pretty too. Now, this one I really can't tell if it's getting on the pencil or on the stamp at all. But we shall see. That one showed up a little. This one really not at all. That's just too dark to go in with yellow, which makes sense. Let me try this like golden greenish color. Curry. Let's see what curry does. That was a lot of water. Yeah, you can kind of see it. All right, so that's where we're at with these kind of markers. I'm going to set that aside because I want to try playing with the distress mark pencils as well. So that was with the Creen, and I'm going to wait and see what those look like once they dry, and maybe go back and make some leaves with the Creen markers as well. Hi, Flora. Hi, Patty. Thank you. I don't remember if I said already, but thank you. I'm glad you like the colors. And it is nice on this stamp set. You can see on, like on this, there's a line drawn right on your carrier sheet. Can you see that? I'm kind of close. To show you the things that kind of go together when you're stamping. So there's a line around the things. So you know like what's supposed to go together. It is kind of, you know, you can kind of tell. But like these don't have anything to go with them. So they don't have anything drawn around them. Just makes it all the easier to tell what you're trying to do with your stamps. And I didn't clean these before I picked them up. That's okay. I'll transfer a little. I'll probably regret that. See, why did I do that? That was silly. All right, I'm just going to spray some water on these to clean them off. And then we're going to try going in with the distress pencils and see what we get. And Jen Shirkus, when I watch her do this, I mean, she creates magic with it. So whether I'll create magic or not, we shall see. All right, so I have 3 sets of distress pencils here. Distress watercolor pencils. So what colors do I want to do? I'll get out Candied Apple, Crackling Campfire, Door, Kitsch Flamingo. Let's see. I think there's a brighter pink in this one. Yes. Picked raspberry. Oops, can't get it. Fired brick. I'm not even sure what I want to do here, but just getting out all these possibilities. Pretty. And what I'm going to do on this one, see, I have a cup of water here. Let's see. I'm trying to make it so you can see what I'm doing. I am actually going to go straight into my water with my pencil to get it wet. And so I'm not worried about keeping my pencils like super pristine or anything. So I don't mind. I'm going to do barn door. Let's see. So I'm just going to put it right in there to get it nice and wet so that the pigment will flow. And then I'm going to try coloring right on my stamp with it. And if it stops moving, you just go in for another dip. You can see I'm kind of coloring with the side of my pencil. And again, this is something that I've watched Jen Shirkus do. So she's awesome. Just want to give credit where credit is due. Just set that there for a second. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 stamps. I'm going to do a first one to get a lot of that pigment on this one. And then I'm going to grab a second panel, spritz it, and stamp again. So this is very solid with this first layer on this one. And I'm going to go in with another piece of cardstock here. This is watercolor cardstock again, because we are doing some wet techniques. I want to have a heavy cardstock to use. Lightly spritzed it. And then I'm going back down. And this one will be softer and lighter, I think. Yes. Ooh, look at that. So pretty. So that's how it's looking. So now I'm going to go back in with some other color. I could heat that a little bit. I'm going to try adding this bright pink to it and see how these colors look together. I don't know. You know, I'm going to clean up that center a little, and I'm going to put some yellow in the center, actually. I have some mustard seed, so I'll add in. I'm hoping that'll just kind of all blend together as it goes down, but we shall see. Again, I'm going to switch out my cardstock, my watercolor paper. This is still pretty wet. Do I want to do it? I'm going to try it without spritzing and then spritz and see what we get. That is a whole bunch of nothing. I don't know. I might have to. This is going to take a little practice, I think, to get the color, the kind of look I'm looking for. But dry this a little, then I'm going to go in with more pigment and add layers to it. I just wanted to play with these solid stamps and see what kind of looks I can get that are maybe a little bit different than just my inking up of the stamps, which I also love to do, but you know, it's a different look. I wanted to try to get more of a watercolor feel with this. I went way high with that spritzing. Ooh, now we're getting some interesting color in there. And you can also just take a paintbrush if you want to. Mine's looking a little on the splotchy side, and you can move that pigment around a little because it is distressed pigment. If you want to give it a little bit of a smoothing, you can. Or where there's a globby. And I could also, if I wanted to, take my brush right to the pencil. Just add a little bit more yellow. There may have been some color in my brush. I'm getting kind of a greenish look. Oopsie. If it's too much, I could always dab, but I just kind of want to let that dry and see what we get. Oh, that's looking really cool. All right. I think I'm going to pull in another piece and just see what's left on there and go with it. And then I'm going to do some leaves and some of the smaller flowers. And this is using the Ranger Distress Watercolor cardstock. That's not much of anything. And I'm using the smooth side. One side is smooth and one side is rough, textured, and I'm using the smooth side of it right now. So now I'm going in with a lighter pink in the center. Then I'm going to go with a darker pink out on the edges. Move that around a little. And I didn't go all the way to the edge. That's why I'm getting kind of a weird look on that. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, actually. And I'm going to go in with a purple now. I feel like I want some purple with this pinky colors. So I'm going to take a little Seedless Preserves and go, let's see here, to think down here I need some. So do any of you have these pencils? Is this something you'd ever try doing with your pencils? If you had other watercolor mediums, you could try the same kind of technique and see what you get. There's a chance I should have dried that first, but let's see. I just blew out everything with that. I'm just going too heavy-handed with my pigment. Jen does say that when you, the first one's going to have a lot of pigment, and then you go in a second time to kind of get the more softer watercolored look. And I think I'm just kind of going through it too quickly. All All right, there's that. So again, I'm going to go in with some pink. Turn this way. There's my first. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog barking. She's going crazy upstairs right now. I'm not sure what's going on up there. Let me go ahead and dry this a little. I do like to just come in here and experiment, but I don't know, maybe for your all's sake, I should have tried this beforehand to show you the good final outcome, but I just think this is fun. I'm just going to add a little watercoloring now with my brush. Because once you kind of have the shape there, you could add color as you see fit. Patty, your dog's barking at my dog. That's too funny. I've ordered a lot of Christmas gifts and the deliveries have been coming, and I think that might be part of what she's getting upset about. I think that was a little too much. Well, I think I'm going to let that one dry and see what we end up with, and I'm going to add some pigment to this one. You know, the other thing I might want to try that I haven't been doing is spritzing my cardstock itself. Ooh, that one turned out pretty. I like that. See how these are looking? I kind of love it. Let's see. I can do another one on this end. You know, I want to do some of the small ones though. So I'm going to save these. You can see how they're drying. I think they're really pretty. Just a different look for the stamp. So I'm going to make a few small ones to play with, and then I'm going to make some leaves. Because then I can layer some stuff up. So I'm just taking this one off. Put this one in. And I may have to find some more cardstock because I'm just about out. Let's try to do one that's more red. A lot of these are leaning more towards purple because that's a personal thing with me. I always lean towards purple. I'm going to go in with a couple colors at once. Oops, I forgot to wet that one first. Hello, Regina. Early morning in Australia. Yes, these are the Tim Holtz, the Distress watercolor pencils. So I'm just trying them. You just dip them straight into your cup of water to get the pigment flowing, and then you can color with them directly onto your stamp to add some watercolor look. So this is what I'm trying to play with to see what kind of results we might get. Sorry, I love purple too. Put the purple and red together. That one might be a little too, I don't know, a little grungy looking. Again, I can take that and kind of spread it around to get rid of the splotchy looks a little bit. And I'm going to take another panel. I think this time, I haven't tried this yet, I'm going to spritz right on my paper rather than the stamp, and we'll see what happens with that. I added a lot of water. That might have been too much. It's even puffing up off of my my what do you call it, grip mat. Letting that transfer a little. That's cool. I like that. The only thing is I didn't love my colors on that to begin with, but it's really pretty. Did I call them crayons again? Yes, they're the Distress watercolor pencils. All right, I'll let that guy dry. Some of these look kind of, and then when they dry, they really, I really love how they're looking once they dry. So it's good to have a little patience and see what will happen. All right, I think I have 2 small ones now. Let's move on to some leaves. Yeah, I do love mixed media, I have to say. So I like to change it up. I love my Copic coloring of fun little images and stuff, but then I also like to play with some mixed media type of stuff. So I love it all. I love it all. Oh, hi, Jennifer. I didn't even realize who's coming. I read. Nice to see you on here, friend. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. I mean, look how pretty that is. I don't know. Can you guys see how pretty that is? So pretty. And my stamp set is here. I just had I had a bunch of ink pads here in case I wanted to use them, and they all just fell over. I just did that upside down. And I think since there's some room on this one, I'm also going to try and see what happens if I use this one. So I am going to have to get out some different colors. Some greens. Oh, I could have been using Villainous Potion all this time. I missed him in there. Such a beautiful color. And I am mixing up my sets. I think I'm going to actually start putting these all in one bin and not try to keep them into the 3 different sets because I don't really need them to be by set. Yeah, there's a lot, obviously there's lots of things that you can do with these Distress pencils if you have them, the watercolor pencils. You can go back and watch all the many things that Tim Holtz did with them, but you don't always have to make like a mixed media panel necessarily. You can use them with the stamps that you might have in your stash. So if you look at some solid stamps like this, there's fun things that you can do with them. And I don't know, I just grabbed a whole bunch of colors out. I'm not even sure about my palette, what I'm doing here, but this one is peeled paint. So I'm going to start with this on some of the green holly leaves. Let's see what we get. And I wanted to go in with this darker rustic wilderness and add a little more green with that. And I don't know, I'm doing 2 here at once. That might be a mistake. I should probably just skip to 1 at a time. Stick to, not skip to. But we'll see. I like how it was when I spritzed my paper a little. So we're gonna do that. Ooh, I don't know how it's gonna look when I open it, but it looks really pretty through the stamp and the misty lid. I like it. I like it. Oops, darn, still had some red in my paintbrush. So I can take my towel and kind of dab that color that I didn't love off of there. Take it out for a second. I don't know if I have another one that will fit the same. Yeah, no. Maybe if I put it this way. That's too big. I'm gonna just trim this real quick. Find my scissors. And then I can go in and cut some more cardstock as well, but is that big enough? No. No, I'm out of luck. That one there. Cut off another piece. There we go. Okay. So again, these are the Distress watercolor pencils from Ranger, from Tim Holtz. And they are a fun watercolor pencil that you can color right onto your stamps with. So I wanted to try it with this beautiful set, which is the Press Poinsettias, because it has these nice solid stamps in it. So I'm giving it a try to see what would happen, because I love this stamp set. It's so pretty. And I wanted to make some really watercolory looking leaves and flowers. So this is what we're playing with today to see what happens. And again, I didn't try it ahead of time. We're just trying it as we go and see what we get. And this is a technique that I've watched Jen Shirkus do, because she's so talented and so good with all the distress and everything else. And so I wanted to give it a try. And that one's super blobby. Let's see. I'm gonna spread that, but I really lost the shape of that one. I think I lost track of what I was doing. I meant to just do a second stamping of that, but yeah. Let's try again and see if I stamp that again, will I get more of the actual shape of the holly leaves? Blob. I'll try wiping these off. And I'm actually going to go in with a teal right on top of this green and see. That might be crazy, but we're going to give it a try, see what we get. So let me just make sure. I want to get those edges on this. This is peacock feathers. Just to see if I can capture that shape, since I ended up with blobs. Nope. I created bigger blobs. They're pretty. I might have to do some creative cutting with those to make them look more like holly leaf shape, since I blobbed them out a little bit too much. I did with this one too, honestly, but let's go back in with this and see what happens. If there's anything left on there. Beautiful blobs. I kind of agree. Thank you, Linda. Okay, I may have went too much teal on this one. But I do love to add a little teal to a green. I think it just really can be pretty. So that's where we are with that one. I did want to try this other shape and see if we can get any kind of definition to that one. Those are really, I'm going to dry this real quick, actually, since it's super wet right now. And I'm just with my heat tool here. This is my drying tool. I don't know if you're hearing that noise or if my streaming software is canceling it, so you don't have to hear the motor of that. Let's see. I think I'm going to try it with Mermaid Lagoon and see how we like that. That looks pretty cool. That's just one color, but I love how it looks. Really pretty. Another one on here. I think I can do it without it overlapping with anything. Yep. Make sure I'm not messing anything up with these guys, though. All right, I'm going to go in now with maybe Salvage Patina for a lighter look on this one. Just playing with the colors. Don't really have a plan in mind. Just to see what will happen. Very pretty, very pretty. Now if I go back to this one, I don't know if any of that Salvage Patina will layer on top of it or not. It might be too light, but let's just see if we get anything. I can't even tell. Added some water, may regret it. All part of creative play. Yeah, I can't really tell much of a difference. But you can see that one's darker and one's lighter when you put them next to each other. But very pretty. Let's see. Any other place I can add more things? Excuse me. I'm going to try to make another leaf on this one, I think. Okay, let's take some of this again. This is peeled paint. I think I want to stamp that off a little. So I'm just going to put this in here to catch that, some of that ink, or pigment, I should say. Oops. And then I'm going to move this around on here. That might be too little now, but let's see. Ooh, I love it. Okay, and then do I have any other? No. I'm going to go back in with the Rustic Wilderness again. Make an edge on here. I always seem to get blobs, but we'll give it a go, see what happens. And I'm going to add in a little bit more of the teal again. This is the peacock feathers. Kind of blending it right on my stamp to see what happens. Got too harsh of a line there. Okay. So let's look at all the things that we have now, and I think I can cut some of them out. Get out my drying tool maybe to dry some of them a little more. I also want to create a background. I'll clean those stamps a little better after I'm done with the live. or next time I need them. Okay, so let's see what we have here. I'm going to dry these things so that I can cut them out. Hi, Lisa. I'm glad you made it. Is that everything? I think so. I have my blobby leaves. We'll see if these look like anything. Oh, and I have this. This had had avalanche of paper or of ink pads falling on it, and so I forgot about it. I had more space on there too. I could make more things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, these do look the same shape. I don't know if I could cut them out with that or not. I'm thinking no. So, let's see. Trim these up. So another thing you could do, it would be a different technique, but if you wanted to have a watercolory look, is you could do a watercolor background and then just die cut with these dies from the Winter Poinsettias Dynamics rather than doing it the way I did. But I mean, the way I did it, part of is just the fun of doing it. So for me, that's part of the creating, is just having fun trying the different things. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut out all these or just some of these, but we shall see. I may do some yellow dots separately to layer on top of some of these. This one's so pretty. I love the purple. And when I fussy cut something like this, I cut, I leave my scissors kind of in the same place, and I move my cardstock rather than trying to do some contortionist moves to try to move my scissors around the cardstock. I leave my scissors pretty much in the same position and just move the cardstock to do my fussy cutting. I don't know if I should have left more of a white border on here, but we're just going to see how it looks. Because I am losing some of that yummy kind of watercolor uneven edge by cutting it off. I might try one with a little white border and see if I like that better. There's one flower. Fun, fun, fun. This one I'll leave a little white edge and see what we think of that. Thing about when I leave a white edge is I am not very even about it. Need to just take my time a little more. Today's a very quiet live. I know there's a lot of fun things happening out in the internet today. So I know that this one is going to be watched maybe a little more on replay than live at the time, but that is a-okay. What I have loved about doing these lives, jumping in and doing them pretty much every day for 12 days, I only miss one day, is that it's gotten me spending a lot of time here at my desk creating, and I love it because I don't always get to do that, especially in the middle of the workday. So it's been really, really great. And some of you who I recognize your names have been here like most of the days. I just appreciate that so much. That's so kind of you to do that. And so I'll be doing another one tomorrow. It'll be day 12, our last one of the, during the time of the daily deals. But then after that, I'm toying with the idea of just doing a 2 p.m. Eastern Tuesday live every week, not Christmas week, but the rest of the other weeks, because a lot of times if there is a release on that Tuesday, it's good timing to go through the release, and then on other days I can just make something. So what do we think, guys? Do we like having the little bit of white border, or should I cut it right to the edge of the flower? I can't decide. I kind of like them both. Hi, Dana. Nice to see you, friend. Tomorrow's day 12 already. I know. Hard to believe. Hard to believe I did the first week of lives with COVID. I'm glad I'm feeling better. You like both? Okay. Well, Patty, you and me both. So I don't know what to do the rest because I like them both. Hi, Mari. Okay, so Jennifer likes the border. All right, so we'll do the rest with the border. And then if I change my mind later, I can always trim off that border. So, oops, and then I went in close after saying I was leaving a border. Like here, I love that little bit outside the line because that helps it make it look more like watercolor, when you can see that rather than just kind of trimming it right off. So if that makes any sense at all, I don't know. So anyway, with the mention of the Tuesday at 2 Eastern lives, you guys can go ahead and mark your calendars so that you tune in and join me on those. The stamp, Dana, is so beautiful. It is, where did I put it? Here it is. Some of the stamps are gone from it, but it is called Pressed Poinsettias. And so it's a layering poinsettia set. So you could do the details of the poinsettia, but I was just using it with the distress watercolor pencils directly on the stamp, on the solid stamps, to make these watercolored looking flowers, which I love. I think they're so pretty. And I'm going to keep practicing with this because I love this technique. I need to go back and watch Jen Shirkus again because I feel like I'm forgetting a step she did, maybe. I don't know. I know she went back and forth, like she'd use the same pigment that she put on the stamp, like full strength, and then do it again so that it's more watery. So I don't know. But I think it was fun to experiment and try it. And I love her inspiration. And I think for this, the card, well, I was thinking of doing it with the postage. I might use at least one of them make a little postage stamp card. But it would be pretty also to do a watercolor wash background and then put some of these on there, maybe do some flicking. I always love to, as Dina Wakely says, put some pox on my card. So she calls the flicking of the color. So I think that would be really pretty with these as well on a background like that. Yeah, so I could use some of the stacks dies that are the special of the day today. And again, if you haven't checked out the MFT website today, the daily deal, there's been different deals every single day. They're one day only. But today's deal is if you buy any of the stacks or shaped dies, you can pick any 6x8 stamp set of your choice to add to your cart for free, which is super awesome because there's so many fun stamp sets, including these poinsettias that I used. So, and I know that there's some stacks dies that actually look like a watercolor shape. And so I might use that just to, I might color on that die cut with these distress pencils and then use that shape to give me like the perfect little watercolor blob shape for my background. I think that'd be really pretty with these flowers. So we're close to an hour already. I want to try to finish this card on the live, because the ones where I'm like, okay, it's been an hour and I drop off and don't have it all finished. I have a bunch of not quite finished cards here that I need to get them finished and posted so you guys can see what I ended up with in our lives. So that is also on my list to get done and posted. It's just a busy time of year, isn't it? My kids are in high school and they're doing their final exams this week, which is, stressful. But they're almost done for the school year. So not school year, for the calendar year, for the semester. So that'll be nice. I haven't even finished putting up my Christmas tree, you guys. I have it up with lights, but 0 decorations. So we're just looking at the glowing tree, but no decorations, which, I love having the tree up, but I need to finish because this is kind of ridiculous. Can't believe how close it is to Christmas already. How did this happen? What is going on in the world to make time go by so quickly? And then last night, I didn't go, but the rest of my family went downtown Atlanta for the state championship football game. My kids' high school was in the championship game for their region, and they lost, which is a heartbreak. They were undefeated all season long, and had a great year, but then they lost in the final. I feel for them because last spring my son was on the varsity soccer team, and they also lost in the state final. So I know the kind of heartbreak those kids are feeling from seeing it with my son. But nothing to hang your head about when you make it to the state final. Look at these pretty flowers. Hold them up a little so you can see. But I mean, look at this. I don't know if they look like much as I was doing them, but once you have them dry and you're cutting them out, they're just so pretty. I don't like that yellow blob I made on that one. I might have to try to fix that a little, or put something over it. But these are just so pretty. So I hope it's capturing on the screen so you can really tell what it is that you can create with this technique. It's really fun. But I'm doing a lot of fussy cutting. Or as my friend Vicki Booten would say, fussy cussing. That makes me laugh. I don't know. I don't mind fussy cutting. I think it's kind of relaxing, but I know it's not for everybody. One of the things that I don't worry about is having an even border. Once you let that go, it takes some of the stress out. It's like if the border isn't like the exact same millimeter around, all parts of the flower, I don't really care. This is homemade. It doesn't need to be so exact. So but this is a lot of fussy cutting. And I'm not sure what I guess I'm still going to cut these out, but that's going to be a little more challenging. Where did I just throw that flower? There it is. And I do want to try to bring some shape back to those leaves that are a little blobby. These are so pretty. That's not it. This one is really got a lot of texture on the edges, which is really fun. So I am glad I'm not cutting that off, I should say. I'm gonna have a lot of them here. I have to figure out what to do with all these pretty poinsettias. Oh, I was gonna say I would love to have a real poinsettia in my house, but I do believe they are toxic to kitties. And so my kitty does love to chew on plants, which is very not good. So I can't have a real poinsettia, I don't think. I don't think my dog would chew on one, especially because it would be up where she can't get to it, but the cat can jump. My dog loves to chew paper, which, you know, me being a crafter is like her dream. Because whenever, like if I dropped one of these pieces of paper on the floor, she would find it. She would take it to her bed and she would be having a paper snack. I don't know why that's delicious to her, but it is. Okay, let me try to, I'm going to look at this to try to get an idea. So, you know, I'm not going to be able to add as much white to this if I want to try to get some of that shape back of the leaf. Maybe I won't care too much, but because she was blobby. Yeah, mine likes to sometimes, I think sometimes she eats it, and then, like you said, I think sometimes she does just chew on it and leave the mess behind, which when I was having COVID, she found some of the Kleenexes from the trash, and I'm like, dog, you do not want to be chewing up my COVID tissues, which is just crazy. And she would just chew them and leave them. Hi, Lee. Hello, friend. How are you? Mocha, thank you. You agree a little variation can really add to the projects? Yes, I agree too. Lee, are you back home now? Are your travels done? I don't know if I should have said in the internet that you were traveling. Sorry. Probably should have done more leaves. Although, you know, I just realized these are the holly leaves. There was probably, right? There's probably, this is probably more of the poinsettia leaf. I didn't even think about that when I was doing them. That's okay. We don't care if it's true to life. Especially when they're blobs and don't look like any particular kind of leaf anyway. I need to figure out what I'm going to do on tomorrow, my final live of the week. I need to figure out what I need to play with on that one. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Something to do in action. Then I also tomorrow need to get some of these cards I've made sent out because some of them I made with certain people in mind and need to get them in the mail. Which was always hard for me to actually mail the cards. That's a lot of cutting, guys. I know, Jennifer. Are we supposed to mail them? I don't know. Oh, your cats had COVID, Lee? Really? I don't know. My dog didn't end up showing any sign of it. I don't know. Can dogs get COVID? But it just seemed like a really bad idea to chew on those tissues. For one thing, it was disgusting, right? It's like, what are you thinking, dog? How can that be good? I know it must be fascinating just watching me cut things. You guys are champs for being here. But I just want to get them all done. So I have them to play with, and I can just figure out what I'm going to do with them. Now, this is my challenging one to cut out. We'll see how this goes. Sometimes I kind of get it, and then I might have to go in and trim off a little bit of detail here and there. We'll see. I also need to figure out what I'm making for dinner tonight. It's like my family, they want dinner every single night. It's so tiring. Actually, last night when they went to the football game, they ate there. I didn't have to make dinner. I didn't go, though, because I had a bit of a headache, so that wasn't good. You're on the way to the dentist. Somebody else said they were at the dentist today. Must be a day for that. I need to call our dentist and try to get my kids in because they're overdue. They both had an appointment that I had to cancel because they both didn't want to miss school the morning that I had it scheduled. And now I didn't get it rescheduled, and they're getting a little behind on it. And so I need to, it'd be great while they're off from school if we could do it. But of course, that's going to be really hard because you need to make dentist appointments so far in advance. So that's kind of a hashtag mom fail, I think, right now. I need to get on it. This one is a little more tricky. I'm just a little worried about that centerpiece because it's going to be thin. Don't want to mess it up. So I kind of trim off pieces as I go. I don't have that big piece of cardstock just hanging off, after I've trimmed. You can see I kind of snip it off and then continue on. But it does make it hard to go around the little oval part there. Yeah, Lee, I don't know. Well, I guess you can see them on my desk, but I used the watercolor, the distress watercolor pencils and colored them directly on the stamp. And use some water and then stamped them to get kind of a watercolor look with them, which I think is really fun. Not kind of a watercolor look, it's really a watercolor look. I don't know why I said kind of. So I told my husband earlier, the only thing I really want for Christmas is to figure out getting new flooring and wall color here in my craft room, because we've been talking about getting new. I'm in the basement and we need new floors in this basement in general, like the family room area as well. Thanks to our dog who has kind of messed them all up, which is not fun. But we want to just get rid of the carpet and have like a laminate type of wood, fake wood, whatever. And it's super duper expensive to do the whole basement. So, we haven't done it yet, but it's, something we want to do. And so I said I wanted to really focus on getting that done and getting my whole craft room organized and set up well and purge some old stuff I don't need anymore and just get it all done. But of course, the whole thought of it is so overwhelming because I have so much stuff in here, and I also need to teach a couple things in January. So it's like I have to figure out the timing where I could have my craft room boxed up and still be able to do the things I need to do, especially if I'm going live on Tuesdays. I need to be able to do that as well. So I don't know. I don't know when I'll ever be able to get it done, but I really need to because it would make me so much happier. I'm going to paint my walls a really light purple and have a nice wood laminate flooring in here and have everything organized and purge, the decade or so of things that I've collected and don't need anymore. Actually, more than a decade. I've been doing paper crafting type things since, I don't know, 1999. I used to live in Texas, and I have some drawer units that I moved with me from my craft room in Texas back in 2011. And guess what? The same things are still in those drawers. Like, do I need them anymore? Clearly I don't, because I haven't touched them in that many years. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff I want to really clean out, get rid of, and have just the things I actually need to use in this space. So anyway, now you know my big goals in life. I've always had a messy craft room, except for when we first moved in this house. That's the only time I didn't have a messy craft room. But most of it is because I have worked for paper crafting or stamping companies. And so I know that some of you would roll your eyes at me saying this anything like a complaint, but you end up with so much product that it becomes overwhelming very quickly, and you have to keep on top of it and have things organized. And then when you do things like virtual classes or in-person classes or shows, trade shows, you come back from them, and if you're me, you don't always put things away right away, and so it just kind of all just builds up. So that's where I'm at right now. Don't be like me. Keep your space nice. So I got a little bit of bends in those as I was doing that, but that's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it. Creases, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Okay, whew, that was tiring. Look at all that I cut out. And most of you are like, I'm out of here. That was boring. But here's some ideas of what I want to do with this. Look at that. Let me clean it real quick. Well, I guess it's dried on there. It's not going to smear. So, some kind of coming out with the blue sprigs like that. Take a bunch of these flowers, layer them up. Some of the smaller ones too. I need to figure out, how the design will be. Add in some of these leaves. I'm just doing this so I can hold it up for you to see a little closer how pretty all this stuff is. Aren't those fun? So I do think, since we are at an hour and 10 minutes, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer, but I'm going to get this done. And maybe I'm going to try to get all the halfway done cards that are here on my desk done. And then during my final live tomorrow, I can do a little review of all the cards that we've been making all week, all the past 2 weeks, actually. And then, that'll be fun. And I'll have them all done, and I'll get them posted and all that. So again, I think I am going to make one of these with the postage and have like a cute little poinsettia postage on a card. I think that'll be super cute. And this postage die is part of the deal today with the stacks and the shape dies. So make sure and check that out. If you buy something like this, the postage, you can get the poinsettias for free. So that's pretty cool. 6x8 set of your choice if you spend $50 on the stacks and shapes category. So again, just look at how pretty these are. And I hope if you ever try these kinds of things and you want to, tag me personally to show me, I would love to see. I can show you my, let's see here. This is me on the Instagram. Oops, not focusing. If you want to ever find me on there and tag me and show me if you try this technique, you could also tag Jen Shirkus since I got it from her. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I really love doing pretty watercolor type things like this. And so thank you guys for joining me today. And if you're just popping in, this will be available on replay. And again, the deal today is the Stacks and Shapes free 6x8 stamp set if you spend $50, which is a $25.99 value. Very cool. And I'll just say goodbye. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you one more time tomorrow at 2 for our countdown to Christmas, which is coming to an end tomorrow. It'll be the last deal And, MFT always has other deals going on, so keep an eye always on the website and on the, if you sign up for the newsletter, it's a good way to find out about things. Check the blog. There's challenges on the blog. There's a Christmas challenge today. There's a sketch challenge yesterday. There's going to be the money card challenge tomorrow. There's color challenges. So lots of fun ways to play with your MFT products and get some inspiration. So anyway, all right. Thank you guys for being here, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care.